So you said you did time?
2 years before I broke out.
Where at?
Vassar.
Everybody's always recommended to me this guy, Kerouac. So I picked up one of his books, flipped through a couple of pages before I realized that, maybe going on the road might be a little bit of a less sedentary option than just reading it.
Sometimes I wish my brain didn't control everything. What would happen if you could think with your toes or your belly button?
Well, folks passing through tend to call me the Hokie, which baffles me because I'm from Connecticut.
It's the overalls.
Well, I bought those after the nickname. Irony tends to sell amongst my patrons.
Are you laughing your way to the bank?
Yeah, as a shift supervisor over at the Save Mart. Yeah, hopefully there'll be a assistant manager position or something opening up in the Arctic Circle somewhere.
Or you could get a real job working for the real Mr. Charlie. Santa Claus.
We embark, then, on this dead-end journey to replicate that distinct jubilance. Only this time, we think we're prepared.
Oh boy, I'm at it again. Thanks, Shalem. Right about now, I was at it again with niggas and bitches and homies and friends, and
that's how it begins.
What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the No Namers Podcast. I'm Nestor.
I'm that fellatio fiend.
I'm Adrian.
And I'm Arthur.
We have a real special guest for you guys. You want to let them know who you are?
Yeah, my name's Alejandro Echevarria.
There it is.
So,
You got no
tag name? A filmmaker.
A.K.A. young filmmaker. No, I was going to say award-winning, right? Your short won an award?
Yeah.
And won 2 awards, right?
It did.
I was fucking making it, bro. Well, first of all, Alejandro's here. Echevarria, right? The H? What's the H, Hector?
It's what?
What's the H for?
There's no H.
There's no H.
What did
Alejandro
I hear? Echevarria. I thought he said Alejandro H. Echevarria. I was like, oh shit.
No, Echevarria is his last name.
I was like, what does the H stand for, B? I didn't know you had a middle name.
My middle name's Rafael.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but
that's what's up.
Echevarria.
Oh,
big Rafa, dog.
I was gonna say you can call yourself Rafa. Yeah, I was like, whoa. Kind of look like a Hector. Like maybe the H was.
That's an interesting. No, I
was
mean,
like,
you're seeing something that I'm not seeing.
Right. No, but me and Alejandro go way back. He was the DP.
What, he DP'd you not?
No, he was the DP for.
You can't say that to not.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
That he signed an NDA.
You can't talk about that. No, but he
they were under stage names, dog.
He was a DP for the first director, or like the first thing I directed for the CSUN program. I have no copies of that. I don't even know where that's at. Have you seen it lately?
I think I have a copy of it buried in one of my laptops or in hard drive.
Really?
The crane, yeah?
Yeah, the crane.
There should be a copy.
Every time I would ask Julio,
I'm gonna dig it up.
Dude, please do. I've always wanted a copy. I was like, we put so much work to it. We fucking shot in film. There's you shot a beautiful. First of all,
Julio cut it, right?
Yeah, Julio cut it. Yeah. Julio and Gabby. But Julio's a notorious I was gonna say loser of things, but now he's not a loser. He loses hard drives and
straight shade though.
Projects. No, I love Julio.
He doesn't.
I was just talking to him right now.
He's a loser of things. Never won a thing in his life.
No,
except for that book.
I never asked him for copies because it's like Julio's my boy. I used to be at his house. Like if I ever needed it, I just like Julio. Let me put this on the flash drive or whatever.
You
so
expected him to like.
Yeah. I expected him he'll have a copy in his in his computer.
You'll do me that favor without me asking.
It's somewhere. It's somewhere.
Right. So
you'll just know.
So that we lost the crane, the zombie movie. I don't even have a copy of my senior thesis, but I don't think neither does he. So we never got one.
Who's you did?
Caitlin's.
Yeah, that was Dead air, right?
Dead air.
It's exactly what it should be called. Hey.
Or you could be called a dead ass.
Well, we don't want to go down that road. We've spoken at length about
that.
Nah.
I wasn't on that one. So
No.
You were. I heard the production stories. Fun time.
It
That's
sure
nasty
was.
though. For dead air, that's what he does.
Yeah.
Nah, I wasn't.
He got DP'd on that one.
It's hard to talk about. Well, because whatever. Either way. All right. So Alejandro, he
like
shot this
50
movie.
nuggets
I was
a
trying to
week.
all right. What's the title of your movie?
Illusory Promises.
Illusory. I was like, I couldn't get it. I was I'm too Mexican.
couldn't pronounce
I couldn't pronounce it. I was like, I was nervous. I was like, I'm gonna ask Alejandro to say the illusory.
No, it's better because they originally had an even more convoluted and obtuse title. It was originally called Elusive and Illusory for a number of years.
Oh,
Oh,
see,
yeah,
that's a
mouthful.
tongue twister.
Yeah, and then just over the years, I realized that I don't know. When I came with it, it was written, 6
The
years.
World Juror.
Yeah.
You told me about that one.
Yeah, and I don't know. In my younger days, I was a fan of big, obtuse words for
Yeah.
some reason. So I came up with this very, very convoluted theory to justify the title.
Yeah.
Right.
The idea behind it being there was the elusive Hector, meaning he's comprised of all these sort of illusions, or there's no center to his own identity.
Mhm.
And then there's this hitchhiker he picks up named Kaleida, and she's illusory because she's a ghost. And then I was like, you know what? That's still kind of a mouthful of a title. I was looking back in the notes, and I was like, I'm still trying to be as true to the original idea when I came up with it as possible. And then I looked at these ancient notes, and I realized that, wait a second, it was actually going to be originally called Illusory Promises, and then Elusive and Illusory was a more convoluted title. So I was like, wait,
Maybe go back.
just go back one.
Yeah.
So lesson in.
Wait, so you came up? All right, first of all, elusive. See, I already knew I was gonna have a problem with it. Illusory promises.
Yeah.
Hey, loser promises. What's that about, man?
Illusory promises.
It's about Julio or something, man. He's a big loser, man.
What are you saying? Maybe me sound Cuban for. Illusory promises, right? It's award winning. It won the LA Real Film Festival.
Los Angeles Real Film Festival.
Los Angeles.
Can't pronounce anything. Man.
Yo, who's this some real?
It's one of words, right?
Yeah, I've been hanging out by myself way too long, so I don't have casual
Same-
conversation.
Sitting here.
So you can't talk.
So I forgot how to
surprised
talk.
as I'm as coherent as I am.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's award winning. When did you come up with it? Oh, first of all, if anybody wants to watch it, is there a way to watch it now?
Well, right now it's floating around the festival circuit. The
It's
goal
okay.
is to have it screened to as many places as possible. We're pending a few more acceptances, hopefully.
Uh-huh.
And then once it gets in, we'd like to screen it there. A lot of these places would be slated in the fall, and it's kind of prospectively, we'd like to screen it up and down the West Coast.
Okay.
That's what's up.
And once it does its festival run, we'd like to probably put it online and maybe submit it. See if there's a couple of homes that are like other than like YouTube or Vimeo. Like I know there's things like Short of the Week and stuff like that. So we'll try
Okay.
and still haven't gotten that far down the line into looking for like
A home
online
for it.
short film
Right.
distribution
Yeah.
just yet, just because it's still
Still early stages.
yeah.
Mhm.
But that's sort of the idea behind it.
Right. So
And then-
so right now it's going through the festival circuit. Like the first festival it was in, it already won.
Mhm.
It won for short film narrative
Yeah, short film narrative and also
and cinematography.
cinematography by Eric.
I'll
Aguilar.
put the trailer in the beginning of this so people could watch it and know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So when we get into it, they already kind of like know what.
So
we're
that thing you watch, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, that first thing you watched, that's what we're talking about.
watch it. What the fuck?
The cinematography is beautiful. And I was like, wow, man, who did it? And then Eric, and he's a former classmate of ours.
That
and-
was notorious.
But we'll get to that. No, we'll get to that. Because I was like, you know what? The beautiful thing about Alejandro, it's not like I wanted to have you come here, not only to talk about your movie and promote it, but also you were notorious for throwing parties.
That is true.
You know what I mean? Like if people got to know one thing is that you host hell of a party.
Yep.
So We'll try to get to those stories later. Let's get.
Those are some wild ones because you're gonna have to remind me on some of the things that actually happened.
See some vato a hand job. You don't remember?
Okay.
But yeah,
I had seconds though.
first
You recovered quickly though.
I remember from the first movie we were talking about, The Crane, where you were the DP for, that you were talking about this movie since then. Like you had that short idea already because you pitched that, and we went with The Crane, which it's out there.
Hindsight, you're always late on stuff. So.
That's right.
You pitched that story. You pitched a version of that story, right?
I might have, because I remember for that class.
You were pissed off.
Pissed off.
Why didn't I?
No, I'm kidding.
Why did?
No, it was actually.
Well, it got picked out of a hat, so it wasn't like it's not like it wasn't like by merit or like how good someone was, because
that's a great way to choose.
You guys voted for it.
That's a life-changing. That was a life-changing like hat pick though. Like,
right.
The string of events. You're like, dude, this is like, because this is the first time you're in a cohort with like people on like film set in your film
students.
I think.
Do you feel it was good that you didn't pick it out of the hat that day? Do you feel like it was good that you didn't pick it? Yeah. Not ruin your story on.
Not wasting your load. Sometimes you waste your load on.
Although, but I do think I think the story I pitched for that was probably a short version of Chaparral, which is a different short that I did. That isn't online, but it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it.
Put it up.
I'll put it.
That's
up.
what's up.
We'll link your channel. You have a channel, right? A YouTube channel?
Very very small one. Yes.
A word. The trailer's on there. We'll link it. Well, they could watch the trailer. They could watch the Chaparral. Dude, I remember putting my name in the hat, and then first of all, I was conflicted whether I should put my name in the hat or not. But because I was like, I don't want to. Like, what if I get chosen?
I'm gonna have to talk to people.
Talk to people. I gotta be a leader of men. I got, you know what I mean? Like, am I up for it?
Where are my friends?
People are gonna see through the facade that I'm just some fucking hack. I know, being a film student, being an artist in college, it's like nerve wracking, because I don't know, there's just.
There's a lot of low self-esteem.
It's low self-esteem, but also
insecurities and
people there's so a lot
of pressure,
because there's some people there that are so confident, that they know their shit, that you start believing it, and then you start.
But they just act like their shit doesn't stink, but their shit stings.
Exactly, they just act like they know what they're doing, where it makes you feel like, fuck, do I not know what I'm doing?
LeBron took 7 years to become LeBron.
Yeah, so I was kind of nervous. This is like, man, there's people out here walking with their chest puffed out, when
you're just a little bitch boy.
And I'm like, I'm just some fucking cat. I'm like, I've done things here and there, but it's like I don't know if I'm ready, especially because there was a financial thing, because everyone had to throw money in for that one.
You gotta be part of the big baller,
which was $250. And it ended up being $1,500, right? So it's like, man. It wasn't the first time I wasted people's money.
Waste money?
Nah, I was trying to make a joke. But I felt like if I didn't, if I
says yes,
I just wanted to deliver. I was so I was nervous.
There is that pressure. Like, shit, this is not just my dime. There is other people who have a
money
mutual, in that case, a mutual stake in it. Yeah,
right.
So how'd you guys go with The Crane?
I think I voted because it ended up being a tie vote. Well, it would have been tied vote if I got Arrested Development, where both my story and Julio's story were up there in votes. I think there was 5 of us, so there was 2 and 2. And I did the thing where it's I'll vote for him. I'll vote for him so it doesn't seem like I voted for myself. You know what I mean? The way Michael got voted out. So then his won, and then mine. If I would have voted for myself, mine would have won. But that shit don't matter. But honestly, I think I just didn't have the.
So Julio isn't a loser.
No, I mean,
you just didn't have the confidence to be
confidence to be yo, I don't really feel this shit, Julio. Because Julio was my boy. I didn't want to tell him yo, Julio, fuck you talking about cranes, B. You just saw Darren Aronofsky, and you're you just saw Black Swan, and you're tripping right now, boy.
Fuck birds, nigga.
You hate birds, dog. What are we talking about here?
Cranes are for construction.
Whatever. But I didn't have the backbone to tell my boy, like, yo, I think like you're biting off this one heavy right now. Plus, but the thing was, it's like it was a good learning experience. Like since then, I've kind of like not done something more like formal, that like, you know, skits and here and there. But like I haven't had like let's go out make a short film, you know, especially for like $1,500, you know. Plus, but the whole experience is great. But we're not here to talk about the crane. I don't know why we sidestepped to that. Illusory. Oh, Jesus! I already knew. I was like, every time I'm just.
I think it's because you're trying to go into the history between.
Between Alejandro and me. So right, I'm making it about me. But I mean, that's what, you know.
That's the podcast.
Well,
that's the podcast. Sorry.
It's the exchange of like, it's like the exchange of like mutual filmmakers and artists. You know, where we delve into like some of it's just sort of like reflecting on your own experience, and the other person's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
How was that experience for you shooting the crane?
It was cool. Like I had no clue what I was doing.
I mean, so I wasn't the only one, because I felt like I'm like, yo, I'm fucking.
I was lighting shots, B.
I was lighting shots. I was at work.
No, it was just like, I mean, it was
in school. It wasn't campus.
But it's like I'm not even a film student. I'm over there telling me light
We're not even in the school, dude.
You two guys were there.
Yeah, they were.
It was.
We were rolling mic, I think.
I'm just some cat from East LA that they're like, hey, light this shot, dog.
It was
hand
kind of
over.
intimidating. Yeah, like.
I was like, all right, I'll do it, man. I don't care.
We had like a huge.
What do you have to lose, dog?
Yeah.
There's like a big shot list. I had never really DP'd anything before at that. That was the first thing I'd ever had to be like, okay, we're gonna put a light here. We're gonna put a 25 lens there. You know, it was a kind of a thrown in the fire sort of experience. And I remember like trying to store. I remember like I tried to storyboard everything. I still have the storyboards from somewhere, and it's like. It's so like overly done. Like, oh my god, we're in the storyboard. It's like we're gonna have a 650 here, and you're like, dude, that's just like, it's just funny seeing the process.
Right now that you said storyboards, I was like, I forgot you're a fucking great artist, because I remember like you went into detail, stuff were colored in, you put in like colors. You like, I was like, what the fuck, like.
Damn, I need to bring that back.
Yeah, like you storyboard the crap out of that movie, and I was like, well, impressed by like how good of an artist you were. And attention for to the detail of it all. But yeah, I remember it was a huge shot list.
Yeah,
and like there was a lot of storyboards.
But like, I mean, the thing that pulled all of us through that was like we had like crew that like knew, like that was a great thing about doing student films in the CTVA like option is we had for the most part a fairly motivated cohort that like people would like. Show up and like, because one of the things that I kind of secretly knew, and I guess I can kind of confess to it now, is because I didn't exactly know what I was doing. I was going to be kind of like pointing and directing. But I made sure to be like, okay, I want to get a team of good people and be like, okay, there's going to be a camera over there. It's going to be on a 25. There's going to be a light there, and it's probably going to be bounced or diffused. And very much it was kind of almost like even that experience, I think, is like a truer like DP experience where everything I've done since then has been much more hands-on, like to the point to where you're like
you're the one plugging stuff in and like you're the one setting up the camera
down to the Allen wrench kind of stuff. Everything since then has been much more like hands-on. But that was
because I remember you had a lot of help. There was
we had full
there was a full on just for just the camera stuff.
And there was in one little it was like an office in Monterey, El Monte, yeah, right off of Peck Road, I want to say, with like a hard out for 12 hours or something like that.
Yeah, but the nucleus of that group, like the main crew, we were all pretty tight. There was like you, Julio, Gabby, Way, and me. I think that's it. There
was also Lon, I think. He was in a group, wasn't he?
Yeah, the sound guy.
Yeah,
it was. I always forget. Right. Yeah. Wait. Then who? Why were you guys running sound? He had to take off.
Because he had to leave.
He took out. He was
running late.
Yeah.
Because we were first putting up jails.
We were lighting at one point. Yeah. They're like, so how are we gonna light this shot? And I was like, you know what, fam, this is how we're gonna do it, dog. And it worked, dog.
I think people looked at me and Juan like we knew something, and we were like, "Wait, what?"
No one, because you go into a set,
yeah.
a student, like people probably figure that someone.
I'm a shooter, dog, but I'm not that kind of shooter, dog.
I think people expected that. Oh, he probably brought in homies that know what they're doing, you know, or other filmmakers. It was just cats that were like, "You guys want to help me move boxes and like, you know, move stuff."
I'm just a nigga that holds a gun, dog. That's all I do, dog.
Here, hold this shit. Throw this away. But yeah, no, the nucleus of the group was tight, and but yeah, we had 3 shooting days. We had that one in El Monte. Then we shot at my house the next day, and then we were supposed to finish that in Ascot Hills, but it was raining, and I was like, "Nah, man." Like getting a crew up to because I knew where the Ascot Hills was. That
we never went.
We never even got to go over there because it was raining. It was like real. I was like, dude, it's gonna be muddy. It's gonna be impossible to get up there. And also Julio hadn't completed, like he hadn't built the crane yet. We had to build it later. Yeah. So there was that.
Senior procrastination.
Yeah. No, I mean that second day was like what directing was all about, getting chewed out by your producer. One of the guys that came through also screamed at me for calling Ryan a bitch because that was unprofessional, and I was like, "Oh, I'll own up to that." Now,
who did that? Who screamed you out?
The guy that had the steady shot operator.
The old bot.
Oh, Ivan.
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember that.
Because I was like, man, me and Ryan like we go back. So me and Ryan are just having a conversation. There's no one like, and I was like, Ryan, are you gonna? Because we like there was a shot where he's drinking whiskey and like smoking a cigar, real madman type.
That's where we armed out.
Yeah. It's in the same
in this room.
Yeah. We did it in this room. And I'm just having and I'm like, are you really gonna sip it? Are you gonna like? Or are you gonna smoke? And he's all like, yeah. I'm like, or are you gonna be a bitch? And then like as soon as he heard that. Like he came from like over here where he was like building something. He like, you don't talk to people like that. I was like, what? Like to me, I'm having a conversation with my friend. I don't even know where he came from. And he started screaming at me like, you don't do that. There's women present. And I was like, wait, where's the like? I didn't know where the women were. I was
ladies
like,
at, bro.
Where the hoes at?
And then that's where I was just like, what the fuck? What's going on?
I was in the front smoking hookah.
Right. And then there was just a bunch of people here.
Holding that peace.
I remember. What's the homie? He got a ticket, a red light ticket. I forgot his name. Edgar.
Quan?
Edmund.
Oh, Edmund.
I was gonna call him Edward. No, Edmund.
I'm like this shoot is like it was a few years ago, but it's like all coming back. You're like, oh, dude, now, yeah.
He got a speeding ticket, got chewed out.
Filmmaking.
There's stories within the bigger story. You know what I mean? But yeah, though that's where we met. You're the DP for that, and first of all, it came out great. But I love that that you felt as insecure as I did. Because I never told everyone, like, guys, I don't think I know what the fuck I'm doing.
There's that weird there's that pressure, that weird sort of pressure of like
fake it to make it, man.
Well, kind of, but it's so weird is because like in the art world, there's always that like there's these sort of two kind of things that you're navigating. One is sort of like this brazen leader who's like in control of the situation. Right. There are all these people that are answerable to you. Right. But at the same time, then there's that whole other side of you that is like
the insecure artist.
The insecure artist. It's like solitary, or solitary and needy or whatever. And you're battling those sort of two. You're trying to reconcile those two identities.
Right.
That's one of the challenges I think of like directing, because you need to have control over both or navigate them.
All right. So, when did you come up for this idea for your film for Illusory Promises? See, I already had a problem. Illusory Promises.
Illusory Promises. Yeah.
Okay. So I already knew that was gonna have me giving me trouble. For Promises, nah. No. So
I sometimes call it the short film, or I sometimes call it the hitchhiker film.
The hitchhiker film. When did you come up for the story with the story?
Yeah. That would be sometime in June of 2011.
All right, pretty early on.
Yeah, it took a while. I was sitting in a in a small video store in Granada Hills. And like there was like no one in the store, and I don't know, it just sort of came up to me. It like I remember years before that I was interested in the general legend of the vanishing hitchhiker. Someone is driving down a road and they pick up a hitchhiker, and lo and behold, they're a ghost. Now I even think I wrote like a scene once somewhere that dynamic that wasn't very good. Right. I don't know, it just sort of popped in my head, and then
there's your eureka moment.
Yeah, and it's just sort of weird how it was definitely one of those sort of things.
You know what's funny? It's like my uncles are truckers and they have a bunch of those stories.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I was like, yo, is he fucking with me? He's like, yeah, no, man. Like, back in the day, because now there's not that many CV truckers. Like, early 2000s, like most truckers, now that the phone has gone digital and like the smartphone pretty much killed the CV. But back in the day, there was just like this community of truckers who would all communicate through CB channels, and they would all just tell each other like stories of the road and, you know, scary stories, shit they've encountered, you know, and they have hundreds of stories of like ghosts in roads, like the most haunted road they've ever been to, ghosts in rest stops, you know what I mean? And they're like middle of the country, you know, like like Trail of Tears country. They're like, it's fucking gnarly up there, especially at night when you're out there by yourself. He's like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just such a. I've always been sort of really fascinated by. I mean, I think ghost stories in general, because I'm very much like, people report this phenomenon of experiencing like an apparition or, you know, something that's supernatural. I'm always like, I straight up have not experienced that until, well, not really.
Do you have a good ghost story?
You've never ghosted on anyone?
I've been ghosted, but unfortunately, I haven't. The closest thing I felt to, like, you know, when sometimes people walk into a room and they just feel a chill. Oh no, I shouldn't be here.
It's usually after I take a dump. It's like, oh my god,
entering the DMV.
It stinks.
The presence.
Right.
There's a presence, all right. No, but in the Los Angeles theater, they opened it up about a year ago, and there's you know, like the main theater where your parents would go in and watch movies, and they'd have a nursery where you drop off your kids.
Yeah.
It was like subterranean.
Right.
And like, it was dank, like feeling. It was like colder. Like, and they had all these like paintings on the wall of like a zoo.
What?
Of like circus animals and stuff, like in a ring around the room, and it was like really dimly lit. And it had this really weird carpeting from like the 1920s.
What?
And it was just like, it was one of the times where I walked in and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
No.
I gotta get out of here.
So but I stayed in there. I was like, no, I can't. And there were darker parts of it. And people were like, and I stayed in the room for a few minutes, and as other people walk in the room, be like, oh, fuck this. Like, you hear other people feel it.
Yeah. And so you're like, it's not in your own head?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, like, other people are like, they get weirded out quick.
So they would put their kids underground while they were watching movies?
Yeah, an earthquake.
That's hype, man.
You gotta teach them.
The Comedy Store is supposed to be really haunted.
Which one?
The Comedy Store.
It's an ex-mob spot.
But
so a bunch of killings and murders.
Yeah. So they would run, liquor, and it has like underground tunnels, and there's been a bunch of suicides there by comedians and just by other people.
That's hype.
So like it's supposed to be like one of those.
Comedians are usually the most stable people.
Yeah. All right, so you came up with the story
nowadays.
Well, not 2011. I think you pitched it right for our senior.
Yeah, it was supposed to. I came up with it, and then when I came up with it, I was like, okay, well, this should be like a capstone thesis film. I think it's challenging enough. It requires like, because I think at that time too, I was focused on the idea of like, okay, if you come up with a graduate thesis concept, it should have things that are like for a production program somewhat challenging, like shooting inside of a moving car, out in a location. Shooting inside of a bar interior, which you would have to acquire somehow. So I came up with this story knowing that, like, oh yeah, there's going to be a crew that's just going to come up with all these challenges, and then if it gets selected, we'll deal with the problems.
Right.
And it didn't get selected. So you're like, damn, this isn't something that you can totally DIY, is it? But we ended up, and eventually we actually did end up DIYing it. Right. That was sort of the...
Do you think it helped that it didn't get chosen? So now it gave you a few years to kind of like...
Yeah.
polish and refine.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's. I think the reason that it benefited from not getting selected is not so much because the script is more or less intact. It's more or less intact from when I wrote it. There was never even a true, like there was a half draft at some point written from 2012 version or whatever. But the real reason was because the CT, like just from hearing like other people's experiences of the senior thesis sort of process.
How they make you cut stuff, and then what they make you add, and all the
it's
compromises that you have to do to tell whatever story you want to tell.
Yeah, and I guess that's cool in the sense that because they are saying that like the reason that we're doing it is because we're modeled after like a Hollywood studio system. You have to learn how to take compromises. You have to learn how to get chewed out and all those sort of things. Which I guess from a standpoint of like professional conditioning works. But as far as like not
nurturing artists, or making good films.
Yeah, there's a difference. So I get that it's cool that they try to condition you for the industry, but I think it ends up.
Now they will just pull you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars, you just get yanked.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Exactly, and they sometimes do stuff like that, or films just get shelved, or they don't get finished, or people will make very eccentric decisions, like approving a script written by a 15-year-old that doesn't go to Northridge. You know, there's just a lot of things.
That's right. I forgot that happened in our year where it's like, oh no, like you know how everyone like threw in their stories. No, we're scrapping that. We're just taking some 15-year-olds.
Yeah. So there was like, so it's just kind of like, and even working.
Well, because they don't know. So let's fill you in. Okay. So to get into like your senior like for you to make a senior thesis,
you pitch it.
You pitch it and you pitch your team, right?
How many get chosen?
I pitch a 10th. That's it.
No, well, everyone could pitch.
No, how many get chosen?
4 or 5. I forget how many get chosen. 4? Was it 4? 4 of them?
4 of how many entries?
Oh, everyone gets to an entry.
Anyone in the program.
Everyone in the program. It averages to about 20 or 25.
Anyone in the program can pitch. So you just have to meet the deadline and have all the requirements.
Right.
Okay.
So they chose 3 stories. And then the 4th one, they're like, well, you get to keep your crew.
Did you pitch?
No.
I was too scared.
Okay. Again, I still... Alejandro pitched? Yeah, he said that...
And I pitched to this film.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So they're like, we're going to select these 3 movies, but for this 4th one, you guys get to keep that crew. But instead of the story you guys want to tell, you guys going to shoot the story for this 15-year-old wrote.
Yeah, she'd been working with one of the professors through some sort of workshop. Yeah, some sort of workshop at the Santa Barbara Film Festival, I think.
I like how you remember stuff. I'm like, damn.
I remember.
Yeah.
Like, you audited a lot of our classes, so you know what's up.
I audited 2, and that's because I wanted to go drinking afterward.
Yeah, we did. And we did.
It's a great... I mean, CSUN is... That's
success.
The film, you know, with this Armour Theater and the Cinematheque, like, you can get a full, like, film theory education, just, like, low-key, just posting up at the Armour Theater.
Yeah. Right. And
like,
just auditing classes. I was like, if you, like, people that tell me, like, oh, I like, you know, just watching movies and learning about them. Like, dude, just go to CSUN. Like, on
it's great.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, you get to just sneak in there.
Yeah, it's like...
Watch it. And I mean, just leave for the exam. When they're taking the exam, you can take off.
It's like...
That's what I did.
It's like the truly...
I almost took it because I was like, watch me ace this.
Everyone's having trouble with it. Right.
It's like Good Will Hunting moment. It's like...
But I remember I had a problem with that. I was like, wow. So they took one of our, like, of the seniors, they took like a potential story away.
Yeah.
Not only that, now you're telling this 15-year-old story.
And he's not paying for shit.
And they're not dropping $1,500. Everyone else had, because you have to put in $1,500 of your own money and throw it in there.
I don't even know, dude.
Yeah. Well,
it was an experiment.
That was the one that the homie produced.
Renee.
Oh, the one that they never finished?
No, they did.
No,
and they didn't.
I don't know if they try to resubmit to get into the whatever, but
that's the one Renee got.
Yeah, that's the one Renee had to produce. Well, Renee's not a producer though. He had his shit down. All right, so so you pitch it then. They don't accept it. But like from then to when you actually shot it, what did it take for you to be like, I'm gonna make this movie.
Did you rewrite it, or like was it exactly the same word for word?
It's pretty close.
Oh.
I don't know. Like I kind of shelved it for a few years, and then
what made you bring it back? Did you like one day you're like you're taking this shit and you're like that's a good story?
Very kind of close to that, yeah.
And you were the same, bro.
Yeah,
we're linked out.
I mean, at one point too, I'd like, I guess what brought it back probably was.
Because I read the article, it's that they wrote about you. So it said that you're making some of the similar choices.
Yeah.
As your character, which meant like you're just drifting.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, there's a period of time where I was living with some friends in Seattle, and even then, I remember kind of like walking around the areas at very early hours, and at some point, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I think I could start make it. And for some reason, even up there, I was like, oh yeah, I think we could make the film. Shoot in Odessa, Washington. It's flat out there, or like somewhere in eastern Washington, and then I don't know. I think when I eventually realized that like, okay, this sort of alternate direction of starting a new life up in the Northwest, very possible though it was. I'm like, there's something that hasn't been done yet. There's like, it made the decision to return to Los Angeles from Seattle was almost as murky and quasi-spontaneous as the decision to go up there.
Right.
And then when you go back, home, you feel like you're kind of backing down on this big decision. You say, all right, guys, I'm out. I'm leaving. And you're like, I'm back. And you're like, and you part of you can't actually answer why you're back. And then it took like a good year or so.
Well, what'd you go up there for? You were just chasing. Chasing a dream, chasing a girl,
living your early 20s.
Just finding yourself.
It was a lot of that, and also I'd already had a couple of friends up there, and they're always like inviting me, like, "Hey, if you ever need a place to stay, try to get something going."
So you changed your scenery. You're up there. You're like,
did you go for a job, or you just went up there like
on a whim?
But I was working within like the month or so.
Wow, that's cool. What were you doing up there?
One job, my friend got me as a job as a doorman at a pinball barcade, and then I also took a job as a driver for Jimmy John's in Redmond.
I fuck with Jimmy John's, bro.
Dude, they're like in between. It's better than Subway, but not quite as good as Jersey Mike's. But like if you need something delivered,
Jersey Mike's is bomb, bro.
In a pinch,
Yeah, and it was like.
Wait, a doorman for a pinball machine? Like, so it's like an adult arcade.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like for adults?
Yeah. So it's a place where you go.
Well, no, that's what I said. What does it need a doorman? What is this? Like, there's some Riley kids up in Seattle, yo.
What? They're going to a barcade to drink?
Oh, they drink root beer floats.
Root beer floats.
That's not a barcade, dog.
This doesn't go out much, as you can
tell. A barcade is a bar. Arcade.
I didn't hear the barcade part. I just heard pinball. I was like, what? They need a doorman for a pinball arcade?
They're rowdy.
Yeah.
So those tournaments are pretty serious though.
Did you pick up any chicks?
What?
Did you pick up any?
Right? Is there?
Well, you know what's strange is like by
women aren't
by virtue of like being like a person who's like, hey, so I got to check your ID. All of a sudden, people like respond to you differently. Like,
yeah.
All of a sudden, dudes are like slightly more hostile towards you.
Definitely, yes.
And conversely, like some women will all of a sudden
flirt with you.
Will be interested in you. I'm like, dude, I'm just by virtue of sitting on this stool. I mean, like, hey, can I see your ID, man? Like, it's not like I'm. Like
you're the clipboard. You're just like a guy with a clipboard.
It's because he did it with sunglasses and a cigarette.
Right, but like you're just some dude with like power, or
I guess
of like you get in or you don't get it.
I guess, but
right.
Like,
no,
really,
I understand that.
So
did anyone actually get rowdy with you? Like a guy actually said, "Nah, fuck off."
Not really.
You never got into a fight up there. You never broke someone's nose just because.
No,
for the fun.
It's just that. You get guys that are like nervous to not being let in, so they have this like.
It's a barcade.
They have this energy to them of like.
It's a barcade.
No, man.
Like,
no. You get this like sometimes you'd go like, and they're guys that are like pretty young guys, and be like, "Hey man, can I see your ID?" And be like, "Oh, you can't see," but like it will give this really like passive aggressive, shifty eye sort of thing.
It's that nervous tension that males get.
Yeah.
As another man, you feel it.
Well, there's just testosterone.
This fool wants to get froggy, though.
Yeah, but like someone asked me for my idea. I'm just like,
all right,
yeah,
sure, yeah, here it is.
Like I get it.
ID, and then I start running away. I got no idea, homie.
Yeah. No, but it was
I
cool.
killed no idea.
Oh, okay. So you move back down to Seattle. You kind of you're like, well, you know that stopped up.
Stay up there,
yeah.
And what?
In Seattle.
Oh, like 2.5 months.
Oh,
that's still good.
Yeah, it wasn't like.
I thought it was like 2.5.
So you bagged like 10 chicks in 2.5 months? That's pretty sick. So you bagged like 10 chicks at the barcade in 2.5 months?
Might have a kid up there. I'm not sure.
Nice.
Still waiting for the phone call back. Hey, you need to raise this kid. And I'll be like,
give him your real name, right?
I'll be like, yeah, I'll be up there.
Okay, so you come back. You decide. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna make this movie right away, or did it come to you slowly? Like, when did you decide? You know what? I'm gonna make this movie, and then what steps did you take to actually then get it made?
It was just like really frustrated one afternoon, just like, man, like.
Was it impulsive? Like you were like, I don't care if I don't have the funding for it or anything.
Kind of,
it's just
yeah.
like I'm just gonna put my foot forward and
sort of the way
going.
that I had gone about it is so the actress, Kristen Joy Bjorn, I'd always kind of like we'd talked about and she knew about the project a number of years and pretty much like had kind of always known that like if we make it she's gonna be in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's never really any kind of collateral until you say like, all right, this is actually going to happen. So I hit her up one day and I said like, come hell or high water, we're making this film. She's like, all right. And then I was like, shit,
this needs to happen.
Now this needs to happen. And then I think the next thing is I set up like auditions. We set them up at Hollywood Casting and Film. And then they're like, shit, now it's cast. And and you go through the audition process. And
when did Ryan come into the picture? Did he audition for you?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of different people that were auditioning
for that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Ryan did he
killed it.
Yeah, he killed it. He had the vibe.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And so it was just sort of like one thing. It was just sort of like one decision after another of just saying like, all right, we're doing this.
Right.
We're doing this.
It was like little steps that
taking one step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just started getting together. Did you go the crowdfunding? Or how did you get the money to do it?
There was a crowdfunding.
Because I think I remember.
There was very, very modest contributions.
It's hard. It's hard to get people to give money.
I went the Spike Lee route and opened up 2 credit cards.
Oh, really?
Which are paid off, by the way. But we did do the Spike Lee route.
Okay, so
why did you sell your kidney for?
That's true. Yeah, no, that's what he did to make his first feature. He's like opened up like 10 different credit cards.
Credit cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you got a bunch of credit cards, and then you asked for favors from people you know.
And you asked for favors, and tried to make it to where,
you're working around their schedules.
You're working around their schedules. Although, what I kind of did too was I did them over 2 weekends.
Right. So you split it up.
You split it up. You see, you can. One weekend is on location. One weekend we did here,
right,
in LA, and you see who you can get
over there. Who can travel?
Who's down to travel and who can
come over here locally.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the DP Eric was super down.
Yeah.
To
do both.
To be on for the whole shoot. That's
that's a commitment.
He's a working camera assistant too, so it's a pretty insane. It's a pretty insane to do we did. I think we did in 5 days. So it was 5 days of shooting ultimately. Right. So it's some of it's on location, and it was it's kind of like you try to, particularly as you're not just a director but also as a producer, you try to realize, because I crew too, and I know what a horrible experience it is working on low budget stuff as a crew person, especially because you're like, dude, sometimes you're kind of like, dude, why am I here?
Yeah.
So because it's so grueling and it's so not exactly like conditioning you necessarily for like bigger stuff or anything like that. So it's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
So I tried to like make it as humane of working conditions as was possible.
Right. You get to get 2 waters today? Not just one.
Yeah, so tried. And,
open bar on the Pop-Tarts, everyone.
You know, that being said, we're shooting out in Central California Valley in the middle of July. So, so you get
that was my next question. I was like, how hot did it get up there?
That's fucking hot.
The 80s or 90s.
Oh, okay.
That's too bad. But
I thought it was like you're gonna say 100. It was 100.
No. Well, one of the reasons
melting.
Well, one of the reasons that we did the Carrizo Plain National Monument was 1, because it looks awesome. 2, it's very secluded, but also 2, it's closer to the coast than Antelope Valley. And I know that Antelope Valley, 1, looks like Antelope Valley, and everything that's shot there. I'm like, dude, if it's a road movie. And maybe this is me being biased because I'm from like LA and Southern California. Right. Like, dude, I don't know where your story's supposed to take place, but dude, you're in Palmdale. Yeah. Whereas like the Carrizo Plain National Monument is anonymously Californian. You see rolling hills, empty road, but you don't know. You could be as far north as Redding, or you could be as, far south as somewhere in the LA basin.
San Diego. Right.
Yeah. So I like the so it wasn't as hot shooting out there.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
But it's still hot.
Yeah.
So you shot 5 days. This like how were the days? They were long. They were short days.
They were decently. They were for the most part. I think they were always under 12.
And you guys
and a lot of the shooting and a lot of like for the first weekend, which we did out on location, those were long days. Mainly because of the place is so remote, the actual valley itself. So we base camp in this town in the Central Valley called Maricopa.
Okay.
We'd convoy out to the Carrizo Plain, shoot, and then we'd have to come back because that's where the nearest motel was.
Okay. So you guys did stay in motels and put everyone up there?
Yeah. So you did 5 days of shooting. How much actual footage did you get? Like, what is your short run like?
Oh, you mean the final one?
Yeah, your final. Your final.
It's about just under 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good for 5 days of shooting.
Yeah, and a lot of like.
We all looking at. Is that good?
I was like, I don't. I'm pretty sure
it was mumble mouth.
I'm pretty sure he had a lot more footage than that, but it's like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. But what I'm saying is,
was like it was a 3-hour movie
for the 5. Yeah, I understand.
But the coverage was good. I mean. The coverage was pretty solid. The shooting ratio was pretty solid. And also, one of the things, too, is a lot of people like to cover, 15. Some people can cover 15 pages in 2 days.
Right.
But, that's if it's like one location and just dialogue. But here it's like there's interior stuff, static car,
there's complicated stuff, like you said. Like you said, you wanted to make it a challenge, even for film students. So now that you weren't one, there was complicated stuff in it, and you were gonna go all out because that's what you set out to do.
And I've worked on other short films that have a little bit more of a budget, and they would do I worked on a short that was like out in Palmdale, and they actually had a bar location. We built a set. They actually had a bar location. They had night exteriors. They had day exteriors. We did, and they had a motel location. They did that in 2 days. But you're like, the crew is twice as big, and they got like a
right.
There's more infrastructure in the production. You're just like, well, I don't have that much infrastructure, so what I need is more time.
Right. The whole time I'm thinking, if you put people up on a motel, you're kind of like, did you guys hit up that fucking mini bar? That shit's on my credit card.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
No, they're. The nearest mini bar would be like in Taft. It's an interesting place. No, just hanging out in
No, I meant don't destroy the rooms.
He meant the fridge.
Right, don't destroy the rooms since you're kind of like
I would have double deckered that shit, bro.
Since it it was all on your dime. But
yeah, in a hotel.
What did post? How long that take?
Well, that was the fun part. Post took a while because there's the editing. There's the editing.
Sound, music,
which was done by myself and David Kwan, a friend of mine. We both tackled the sound stuff, and then there was the music.
Did you also do the music? Because I remember you did the music for the crane, and
yes,
you get down on keys, man.
I did the music, and then there's 2 other credits. So there's a harmonica track that's played by great multi-instrumentalist and my piano teacher, Danny Farragher, and he plays the harmonica track he plays the harmonica track on the film that you hear at the end credits. And then there's also my friend Matt Stevenson, who plays. He was generous enough to lend some music for. There's some music in the background for the bar, and his track is in there as well.
All right, cool.
But then the rest of it was composed by me under the pseudonym the Evangelical Kissinger.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's just too many credits with your name in it. So you're like,
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you don't like edit it.
Start coming
directed,
childish,
written, right. Music by, they're all Alejandro.
Mike Oxby?
Yeah.
So what did it take? Like 6 months? Or you did you did the editing, you did the sound, you did the, the music? DIY, So what was the runtime on post? Like 6 months, 3 months? A year?
Yeah.
That's not bad. No, I mean, when you're doing all the work, and this whole time you also had a full-time job, right? Or
yeah,
were you
you're,
also
you're crewing and you're crewing and you're working and you're like
right. So like 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 you were splitting time between going back to the movie and like whenever you had free time and stuff. And how'd you guys get into the LA Film Festival or the Real Festival?
Oh, Los Angeles Real Film.
Right.
We submitted through Without a Box.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
How was it when you found out you guys were in? Like,
it was sick.
Yeah, you excited?
Yeah, it's just like.
It's like, did all of you guys go, or like a lot of the crew went?
Baby, that's what I would.
A couple of people went. A couple of people from the crew went.
How was it watching it in front of a crowd? Like, because they show it to
a crowd,
right? Like, how was it as a director, a writer? Like, you saw it in your head. Now it's playing to a crowd. Were you nervous, or were you excited?
A little nervous, but not too nervous. I'd seen it
hundreds of
times, and we'd also done I was actually much more nervous about we had our own premiere with like a cast and crew,
right?
Back in April, and that was kind of a nerve-wracking experience because you see everyone and everyone's there, and you're like, oh my god, as opposed to like a room with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah,
and you're like, that could hurt, but you're like, here's like, oh man, I'm in a room with like everyone. There's like
everyone you know.
Everyone you know. You're like, oh man, this is like, it feels like something out of like a bad dream or something. Like,
right.
Hey, I had this dream, and you were there, and you were there, and we were screening this movie, and it was like a train wreck, and
Yeah.
So screening.
Two strangers was easier.
It kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know who you.
Was it satisfying seeing your film on the big screen?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, because it was
like all that work.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, this is it.
It's worth it.
This is what you do. This is what we. And you're like, yeah, this is what we do.
What was the response like? Did it get a good response?
Yeah, it was generally positive. From it was a very, very small screening. So it was a lot of cast and crew from the other films and stuff, and we got to do a little bit of a Q&A. As that festival series, they were actually a little behind on the second screening, so it was kind of a shorter Q&A.
Oh, okay.
Kind of basically got to answer one question. I think it was about...
what they ask you?
I think it was about where'd you get the idea from the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, I was in a movie rental place in Granada Hills.
Essentially.
Yeah, okay.
Something to that effect. And, yeah, we did it. And look, I want to do more of it.
That was the next question. What's the next project? Do you have something cooking up? Do you have,
Yeah.
I mean, you said the credit cards are paid off, so
yeah,
they're available.
Let's fill them back up.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a stunt man, bro. I guess.
I'll throw a window for you, bro.
I'm going through walls, bro.
Easily, friend.
Yeah, I got a couple of ideas. I want to just have the time to really sit down and develop them. I'm always out. I'm always out, and I'm always working on projects.
Right.
Mostly as a camera operator. But I'm getting into a lot of, I have my hands in editing. I have my hands in.
You have your hands in all the pots.
Yeah, essentially. And and I think what I need to kind of do is like, okay, I operate cameras, camera assistant, and then the rest of the time, like I need want to focus on, like, because I have like there's like idea for a feature film that's like thoroughly developed. It actually needs to be written, and then kind of collaborating with a friend on work getting that off the ground. There's got another short film concept that I think would be pretty solid. It would require somewhat of a budget or a producer.
Okay.
And then like, yeah, just making like other stuff here and there, and just making short form stuff that like has a much higher turnaround time than 5 years.
Right.
You know, because I feel like because as a video, it's
a bond, dude. Come on.
Because as a videographer, I'm used to doing things with a much higher turnaround.
Right.
And I think about how much stuff and how often I'm out there with the camera shooting something.
Right.
And like,
but not like you're like I wish. Yeah. You're like hopefully the next one's for me.
Yeah. So it's just getting, you know, it's seeing the projects that you're on through, and then hoping that you get, you know, and eventually
time for yours.
And eventually it's been kind of weighing on me, because eventually it's going to get to a point where like, okay, I'm going to make time. Like I'm going to be like
right. When you're,
you could be like me, just sleep 4 hours a day, dude. Just fucking.
Yeah.
Well, no, when you're a creative person, like you want to create, like, you know what I mean? Like, and if time passes and you haven't created, you get angsty. You're like, you know, I want to like write, but I mean, you already do all this other stuff, but like you want,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, so you want to get back to, you know, back to it, you know?
Right.
No, but I mean, I love that you just went for it, man. Like I feel since I graduated, I you know, I've had ideas here and there, but like, it's good to know that, you know, that you just went for it. You know, you didn't ask for permission. You didn't ask for, you know what I mean? Like that you just had the balls to go like, fuck it, I'm doing it. Like, you know.
That's that's me being the world's most timid producer, but yeah.
Right.
You know, I am my own, for this one, yeah, it was more or less my own producer. Very timid one, but like, it was like ultimately like, yeah, fuck it, we're going to do it. You know?
Yeah. Like like whatever happens, you'll handle it. But for the next one, are you looking for funding? You like what are you thinking?
I'd like to do one more short. I don't have an idea for it, but I'd like to do one more short where like I can do it all internally.
Right.
I can do it very high turnaround.
Yeah.
And like it's gonna be fucking good.
Right.
Like this one is gonna be like it's gonna be a great short. I don't know what that idea is.
But you're confident.
Next time we're taking a craft, dog.
You know, just because it's like, you know, particularly when you work on the technical end of things, and like you know so many people that do this or do that,
right,
and that are like, and are all aching to work on something. You're like, there's this giant like this giant network of people that are aching to do what they do, and they're always saying, "When's the next one? Then when's the next one?" And there's like,
everyone's ready. You just gotta have that idea, you know.
Like it's coming. You know, the pressure's surmounting. So I'd like to really do something that doesn't require funding first. Like just like here's a project, we're gonna do it, and also like it doesn't require funding, but also it's like not a shitty experience to do.
Right, like something that like everyone has fun with. You know?
Yeah, something that's doable.
You give me $100, you take me to Vegas. Time. I don't come back with 10 grand. I'm gonna do my job, bro.
That's how you produce the movie.
That's my ultimate story, dude. Like, and then you produce a backstory to it, and you're like, this is how I got funded. I'm like,
gamblers.
Wasn't that Will Ferrell just said that on Conan? That one of the first movies he got together with his improv group. They put together 10 G's. Once they kind of figured out that, you know, they did the books and they're like, you know what, this movie's not gonna make like without 30. So they all drove to Vegas, put it on black,
and they lost.
They won.
Oh, there you go.
He said that story, but then who knows if it's
you're not
true?
allowed to fucking put 10 grand on.
I mean, it's Will Ferrell. He just
high-end tables.
Oh,
yes.
high-end table.
But I mean, shit.
Easily so willing to take your money.
No, but I've been telling myself that this is the year that, you know, I'm finally gonna make a short. I have a rough outline, and I need to like
max out some credit cards.
More than the ones I've already have maxed out. No, I mean, Javi told me he's interested in producing it, and he has basically all the equipment. He said he could get me locations, so now it's just about writing it, casting it, and
what's
getting
tougher, getting the idea or completing the idea? Because I mean, I'm not a creative.
Well, no, completing the idea. I mean, getting the idea is well, no, it's not easy, but like, well, I don't know. You tell me, man. Like you're the one who you're the one who actually did it.
Was it easier to shoot or to come up with it?
Oh, it's definitely to come up with it. Coming up with the ideas is like the easy part, because you're like, I'll come up with this giant idea, and at some point we'll whittle it down to something that's doable.
Right.
And then you're like, as time goes, you're like, oh wow, how are we going to do that?
Like,
and you're like, oh shit, I have to come up with a solution for that.
Yeah.
So I think
I need to blow up a spaceship.
Yeah. You're just,
or whatever the idea is.
And it's just kind of like, ultimately it's kind of like, way I kind of would do it is just being, whatever you do, just sort of always in the back of your mind being like, don't do anything that you, don't do anything, do things that you know you can do, and like, you know you can pull it off. I think there's a certain level of like, you wanting to push the bar and push your own limits. And then there's, you know, being able to differentiate between what's like healthy pushing yourself, and healthy pushing yourself is going to bring you to kind of like,
it's going to better you, right?
You know, like still enough that you're going to like be overwhelmed, and it's probably going to
living in the plausibles, not
doing what's plausible. Yeah.
Right. All right. So, I mean, they can't see this movie. It's in the festival circuit. If it gets to the festivals, you guys will be the first ones to know.
Was there a rap party?
To go watch it? There was already a rap party, right? It was.
We did, yeah. Our cast and crew party. But
right. So if you want to watch it,
we should do a screening party.
I'm just trying to party, bro.
Just trying to make it happen. You know, I'm trying to watch this movie, and then
audit some classes.
If you need a projector fix,
I'm just trying to fuck around, dog.
There's there just so happens to be libations there.
No libations.
All right, so. Well, the movie's in the festival circuit, so if you guys are gonna watch it, it's gonna get into some festival guys. It's already won some.
Would you be flattered if they made a porn parody of your film?
Do you have a website or a Twitter that you can like they can follow?
Well, you can't ask them with you can't hit them with too many questions.
It is like two different directions. Flat.
Well, his is obviously
mine's hype, dog.
So basically, a hitchhiker is fucking a ghost.
Illusory penises.
Very specialized.
Or is the ghost?
And it's just ghost dicks fucking. This chick
you
while
just
she's
make
driving.
them translucent.
That's high, bro.
Just make them like.
Was the dick even there?
Someone out there is gonna make it now.
Like Scooby Doo colored, where it's like.
Would you be flattered, or would that be like, what's up with that?
Yeah, I'd be flattered. You're like, dude, that's something. Like
a porn parody. That means you made it, man.
Yeah, you're like, who does that? That's like, all right,
guys. Someone make a porn parody. So then you were asking for his social media stuff?
Yeah, to have anything to follow, like if they were to see a screening of it, or
right, like how do they know if there's a screening coming up, or like if they're in the area?
We have a Facebook page.
Oh, okay, Facebook page.
We'll link the Facebook page. We'll link it. We'll put it on the so people could like it and follow it.
They could actually check it out.
Yeah, check out the page and check out
whatever.
Yeah, and
maybe they could fund the porn parody, man.
Or they could fund the next project.
That's the phase. That's the next phase of production.
Right.
Maybe that's the next short.
There we go, man.
You came up with it. Now you got to get the crew together for the porn parody.
Yeah.
You just got to prep Ryan
from the West San Fernando Valley. It shouldn't be too hard.
Right.
Part of me is like, dude, I'm so like, it's so cool that you made that movie, man. It's so cool that it's winning awards. It's so cool that you're getting recognized. I always thought like you were a great DP and that you had a good eye, and you're also a good storyteller. And like I told you earlier, like I remember looking at your storyboards and also being like, yo, he's a good artist. Fuck, now I'm just like, I'm sucking your dick over here. And also, because you did do the music for the crane, you brought the keyboard and we laid it all down at Julio's house. I remember how good musician. And I remember at the parties you had a keyboard and you would play, and
no one would do Jesus is all right with you.
Right.
Someone has to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are memories I got. That's fucked up though. That day you were laying down music, I remember Gabby giving me a little piece of candy. She's like, well, I'm like, just eat it, Doug. I fucking got faded. And I was just remember like listening to the music and everything sounded good. And I was just vibing to it. It's just like, it's just dope. Yeah. Yeah. So it's memories of mine of like, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
But definitely like also makes me feel like, man, I need to do mine. Like I feel like I gotta, I feel like I've been telling this guys that like by the end of this year, I gotta make this short movie.
What's the short?
It's based in East LA, but I didn't want to do like traditional stuff. I wanted to tell a story about me and my father. And like my dad I used to work all over East LA and Boyle Heights. My dad used to sell produce, basically fruits and vegetables to the basically elderly clients.
It'd be high for someone listens to this and they steal your story.
No, because that's not what the story's about. And at a very early age, he would take me and my brother to work with him. And like we basically were hustling in the street like basically all our lives, and at the swap meet on Sundays. And I kind of just wanted to adapt like shit that happened, more like a day in the life of. But I'm like, that fruit vendor shit is such a thing that just happened in that little small area. I've never seen anyone else do it, or I don't even know if like, because you tell people and they're like, I've never seen that or whatever. That I thought I'd adapted to, or my stories to a taquero of East LA, because that's like they're known, like East LA is known for one, their tacos and their taco stands, and I felt like a lot of the stories would serve, that's like the customer and the and the servee or whatever, it works just the same, but it's not really about that. That's just kind of like the vehicle to tell stories about me and my father. Cool. Yeah. So I want to shoot it here, and I want I'm trying to get. Well, one I want to nail the story down, but once that's done, I want to get the funding to do it, and I kind of have someone who says that they're kind of down to not only do money or help me get the money for it, but also put up a lot of the equipment. Now I just gotta cast it and crew it. But nice. I mean,
it has like locations and stuff for it. Just kind of around.
Yeah, I would probably go scouting around this area. Nothing concrete, but
I think he has to finish the story before he can get all that.
Yeah, but it's mostly one location. Mm-hmm. It's not like, it's two locations, but it's not like a complicated shoot. It's more about, like, to me, it's like, well, not the story. I mean, to me, it's the casting. If you cast those two characters right, I feel like you'd get something neat out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really ever talk about like making films on this thing or being a filmmaker. This is more about my life. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I don't know if you've ever listened to a podcast. I was gonna ask you to, like, maybe you should want to listen to see if you even want to be on here. Now I've been asking people to do that lately, just because like a lot of people don't know what to expect. Like, people are like, well, what is this like? Or like, it's like, we're just having a conversation. We're not, right. We're just bullshitting here. So yeah, so I I don't really talk about the filmmaking aspect or or lack of there on here. But yeah,
but it's
one of those
there though, right?
It's always been there, and yeah, but I mean, that's what the YouTube's for. Well, we've been using it. It's like a vehicle to do creative stuff and like hone up some more skills and kind of sharpen up stuff to use it for the larger vehicle, which is going to be
super prolific, and there's such a like openness and kind of honesty to it that I think those are the real things that
Yeah, dude.
It's like the first time in a long time someone said I was an honest person.
You should ask my third wife though. Oh wait, she don't know.
The fucked up thing, it's like, man, I'm like, I remember we started this a week or no. our first one might have been like the week before we graduated.
Right, because you've been doing it for about 4
years.
Yeah.
And because of the podcast, we've been going the YouTube channel. We've been going back and posting the best of like from the beginning, and like listening back to them. I'm like, how fucking embarrassing was it to ask people to listen to them when they fucking sound horrible? And I was a sound student, and I don't know. It was kind of like one of the things I was thinking today. I was like, fuck, man. I was asking people like, yo, listen to this shit, but I was like, the story, like I like all the content in it. I stand by it because like there was good stuff in there. It's just that like the quality wasn't, the best, especially like coming right out of college and asking a bunch of filmmakers or like the peers who are like, they could be a little harsh to listen to it. I feel now I'm self-conscious about it. I'm like, damn, they probably thought like, yo, this is fucking trash. But that's just me, thinking back at it. But yeah, man, thank you for coming. I hope people don't not only look forward to your movie, but reach out and like the page and stay updated on it. So it gets a little buzz, and whenever you drop it online, or if there's a screening near them, they definitely go check it out.
Okay.
And like probably follow you on following you on Twitter or Facebook or whatever to, stay updated with you as a filmmaker. Because I mean, sometimes like the beautiful thing about podcasts is that people just like listen to your stories and they connect with you, in a certain way, and people then want to just like know more or see what you're up to, or or they listen to this 2 years later and they're like, what the fuck's this guy up to? And they want to check in, because like that's the trip thing about like just having something that lives online forever or for years. Is that people don't always get it the day it drops.
Right.
Sometimes they'll get it 2 years later and they're like, oh, who's this guy Alejandro all about? And it'll be cool that they'll look for you, and there's this whole new body of work that they'll find
of undiscovered
stuff. Yeah, that they're gonna find, and
the stuff that in the old days filmmakers would burn their old stuff.
Right.
You don't like all the early stuff of like Kubrick was notorious. He'd collect all the copies of his one of his first films, and he ordered them to be burned or destroyed. You can't really
once it's in the digital age, once it's up there forever. Yeah. So I mean, hopefully this, whoever listens to this definitely goes tell them the name of the page, or
Illusory Promises.
Illusory. Oh, so that is just that?
It's just Illusory Promises.
Do you have a website or just a Facebook page?
We don't have a website. We just have the Facebook page, and then we have the article written on We Are Moving Stories.
We Are Moving Stories, guys. Check out the article. Probably just touches a lot of the same subjects, but probably more in depth and without, with less jokes in between.
No, it's a different side. It's a different side of the of the film and the filmmaking process, and like a different type of conversation.
Shit, man, I forgot to ask all about how you guys applied to Cannes and got in. Right, you guys got into Cannes the
short film corner, yes.
Yeah, and how does that work? Do they exhibit it, or do they put it on the website, or how did that?
It's part of a media library that's actually at the festival. Now, I ended up actually not being able to go, but I know that you would be able to go. There's a section of the festival where you can go and you can look up. They have a video library there, and you can look it up and you can view the film from there, and then they would send you, at the end of the day, like statistics on who went ahead and watched the film.
Who watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, did you get the numbers? Like, did you not look at it? You're like, I don't.
No, we got it. It's just like, well, it's designed for people who are there to like physically promote it and stuff like that. Okay. So our analytics weren't so hot, but
okay.
Yeah.
But fuck it, man. I always think if only one person watches it, it's good enough.
But the idea behind it is it's out there, and we have like. We got some press from it as well.
That's exactly.
I mean, so it was like that. I think was like it's just being there, having it present in the context of everything else when you're doing and promoting a short film.
Yeah, that's closed now, right? No, like we can't log on and watch it.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, well, why haven't we told people go to the?
Well, it's on. Or is it just? It's on their own network at the actual con.
So you had to go to con to watch it. Okay. big mistake for me. I thought it was like, oh shit, can we just watch it? Right.
Nah, if only.
Right.
No, I was kind of learning as I was submitting to the short film corner as
like
well.
how that worked.
Yeah.
Right. Well, man, congratulations on all the success, and hopefully, you make your next project soon, or when you get the idea for it. You know what I mean? And continue that journey, and many, I don't know, does it say corny? Many blessings, or many much success for you.
Yeah. No, it's a humbling sort of thing, and you just remember that to keep doing it, to be as humble and grateful as possible, and to sort of try to doing things the right way, I guess.
Yeah,
man.
Right thing. Well, thanks for coming, and we're gonna probably sign off.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give us a like, check out our Patreon. Also, make sure I'll put all the links for Alejandro's information. So make sure you guys check out his Facebook page and the page for the movie. We'll put the trailer. He brought the trailer for us, and he brought some posters. Man, I don't know if there's not like a digital copy of the poster. Put it up. It's really cool looking. You said the CSUN graphics program?
Yeah, so the posters were designed.
Check out these posters.
Through,
that's what's up.
They're cool, right?
Center for Visual Communication, or VisCom. They're a division in the CSUN art department.
Right.
And I've done some video work for them, and I know that they and their largely student-run organization puts out some really solid work.
Right.
So I went ahead and asked if they'd be interested in coming up with some concepts, and they tackled it like a full-blown creative agency. They had students on developing concepts and illustrations, and there was a lot of back and forth with developing these posters. Maybe we'd be able to put them. We'll put them somewhere. I'll
sure
probably
we could
post
scan
them,
it or something.
Scan it, or I should put them on the. I've had some of the poster art on the Facebook page, but I think it's probably at the point now where I can probably scan them and put them and start promoting it. Right now, the film has been, until we hear from some of these other festivals, the
it's kind of
cycle's been kind of floating. But I'm hoping that if it gets into some place that that we can start that we can vamp it up again. All right, guys, here's the campaign. Come to this screen.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And that's
okay. That's the thing people don't get, that he can't just put it up on YouTube for you guys to watch. If he wants to, for the festival,
it will be someday.
But for the festival circuit, you can't just have your film online, because that takes it takes it.
The reason why it would be in
why would it be in a festival? So yeah, that's the reason there's no DVD copies, or he can't. You know what I mean? Besides you going to his house and watching it there's not much he can do for for exhibition, except by the festival momentum. So he's hearing, when he hears back and stuff, that all will get ramped up again, and you guys will start seeing more promotion for that. So guys, please like all of Alejandro's pages and stuff, and I'm Nestor.
I'm down to fuck feet, dog.
What?
Adrian.
And I'm Arthur.
That's a weird sign off. I'm weird down at fuck feet.
You're not down to fuck feet?
I mean, I'm down for, but whatever.
And Alejandro Echevarria.
Thank you, man. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And guys, have a good week, and we'll see you guys later.